Hello there, everybody. Welcome to this stream where we're going to have a little bit of a chat, aren't we? Yeah, about some Leeds United related things. And I'm going to keep on talking for a minute or two because you need to reach about 30 seconds before the people that get ads rock up. On that note, if you haven't, like and subscribe and become a channel member and all that kind of fun stuff that doesn't absolutely fundamentally break the channel. I don't know what's gone on here. Where's my face gone? Okay, hang on. For some reason, I can't see myself. There we go. That's all fixed. What's my hair doing? I don't know. But we need to talk a little bit about the under-21s match that happened yesterday. Because Leeds United, our under-21 side at the very least, had a match against Scunthorpe in the English National League Cup. It's the competition that we played in last season that features a bunch of Premier League under-21 sides in addition to Vanarama National League, or is it Vanarama? Is it Motorama? Is it Enterprise? I don't care, to be honest with you. But face off against a bunch of National League sides to sort of get those players' experience against senior footballers whilst adding to the sort of football calendar for those other senior clubs, which feels a bit stupid because their senior calendar is already rammed. But you know what? Give them another chance to win a trophy. Why not? And one of the more sort of impressive and interesting aspects of this match was Harry Gray. So, in essence, what kind of happened at Leeds United was the moment that Archie Gray was sold, the attention immediately sort of pivoted and was like, we know there's another one coming in the pipeline, so let's hope that this one is just as good, or we're going to be really, really, really mad with the ownership. Which, let's be honest, we all fully, believe. Everyone in the chat has had that moment of, Harry better be good, or we could potentially be in trouble here. And from everything that we've seen, he very much is. Got a hat-trick against Scunthorpe last night. First goal was very nice bit of positioning. Ball comes square to him because he's gotten himself in that space. It's just a tap in. There's a forward coming on his back, trying to come in with a slide tackle, but he's way too late. He's never going to get anywhere near the ball. And Harry is willing to slide that one home. Second one is a free kick from sort of, I'd say 15 yards out, but on the far side of the penalty box. So the sort of position where you think you probably don't have a shot from there. Instead, he's like, no, you know what? I am going to have a shot, and it's going to go in the back of the net. And it absolutely did. And I am overjoyed at the fact that apparently Harry Gray is our set piece taker. And then the third one picks up the ball just about near the halfway line and pivots, cuts inside a little bit to make himself a little bit more space, and notices that none of the Scunthorpe defenders are closing him down in the slightest, give him far too much time, give him far too much space, so he just fires it home. And whilst the keeper can get a hand to it, it's too hard for him to bother keeping out, which is spectacular. It's a very, very good sign for Harry that he's developing really well. However, that's where we get to the debate that seems to have emerged. And I'm going to ask you guys if you can pop in a simple yes-no in the chat, if you have access to the chat. That is, a lot of people don't because you'll be watching on TV or something. But if you are in favour of Harry Gray starting for Leeds United, not starting necessarily, but being in the squad for Leeds United this weekend, sod it, we'll go fast. Pop the word yes in the chat. If you think it's probably a little bit soon for him, just pop the word no in the chat. And then we've got a better idea of where people are standing, and then we'll have a little bit of a conversation. We'll talk through everything, and we'll see where we sort of roughly land. And then that'll be fantastic. I'm just kind of curious where people are leaning on it. Because a lot of people will have a lot of different opinions on this. And with the yeses and nos that we've had already, and in fact, if you guys, fancy it, just put in your reasoning for it as well. Because it's quite good to have sort of both sides on it and why people are thinking the way that they are, and then we're more likely to have a bit more of a productive discussion on the entire thing, rather than just someone saying, yes, no, well, you're wrong, well, you're wrong. Let's have a nice conversation about the whole thing, because I know where I sit on it, but I'm willing to be persuaded. Because for me, the way that I'm looking at the sort of squad and situation at the minute, I'm going to very quickly bring up SofaScore. I'm going to go to Leeds United, and I'm going to go to our squad against Fulham. Richard believes too soon, which is fair enough. But let's have a look at the Leeds side against Fulham, right? So, first team is pretty strong. Darlow, Bogle, Rodon, Strauch, Gudmundsson, Stack, Ampadu, Longstaff, Aronson, Calvert-Lewin, Okafor. Brilliant. Fantastic. Cool. But then you look at the bench, because a lot of people, in my opinion, are going to have a look at Harry Gray and be like, we can put him on the bench, he'll occasionally get some minutes. And that's fine, that's well and good. But if you look at the bench, I'm a little bit curious what people are going to say on this one. Who do you believe that he actively replaces from the players that aren't in the first team? So, unused subs this weekend: Meslier, Justin, Biol, Gruev, Tanaka. Very decent players, and also you can't particularly drop them from the bench because they're completely different positions. And then you get to the players that weren't unused, that were used as subs, that got in Meslier. So you'd go without a goalkeeper on the bench, which just means that your goalkeeper is going to get clattered from every single set piece. It'd be nuts. But you look at the players that were used. Jack Harrison is a winger. Harry Gray, not a winger. And also, when Jack Harrison came on, he seemed to do a little bit of creativity kind of stuff, which I thought was quite interesting. Got Lucas Mecha, who I think brings that little bit of physicality, those 1v1 duels kind of energy, which I don't mind too much. You got Dan James, who, sure, admittedly, is now a little bit injured, but there were further players that didn't make the bench that are probably ahead of him in the queue, including Joel Piroux. And then you got Willy Gnonto, who everyone is asking for Willy Gnonto to start. So for me, you can't exactly say, well, Gnonto comes out the squad, Harry Gray comes in. Also, yeah, Harry Gray is a striker. So you're not going to necessarily replace a winger, unless you say, okay, cool, we still got two wingers on the bench with Harrison, Gnonto, so you go Mecha Gray, which means that you're leaving Piroux out for Harry Gray, which feels a bit risky to me. I've got to be completely honest with you. Pro debuts, Rooney was 16, Owen was 17, Messi was 17. Right, Griezmann, okay, cool. I am down for all forms of opinions in my chats, obviously. However, I've got a little bit of a feeling that invoking the name Lionel Messi as a comparison when we're talking about Harry Gray is pushing it a little bit. It's a little bit of a big shout. And I will be completely honest, Harry Gray, very impressive yesterday, like without a doubt. Also, thank you for noting that one for me, LUFC Passion. The LUFC Academy is pleased to announce that 21's captain Alfie Cresswell, who was very impressive as well yesterday, has put pen to paper on a new contract with the club. Lovely to see. Big fan of it. But I don't know. It's kind of ridiculously early to say that after a game with a hat-trick, and we know why this sort of narrative is happening, right? We're completely aware of it. The entire reason that this conversation is going on is that at the end of the window, everyone's mind was on, we needed another attacking signing, and are looking at the youth side and are going, Archie was really good. This Gray is a forward. Whack them together. There's the answer. And let's be honest, he's not. If you were to go through PL2, right, which is the Premier League 2, effectively the under-21s league. So if I just go PL2, Division 1, which is the one that Leeds United are playing in, and I were to check statistics and go to the top goal scorer, right? So top goal scorer is currently Shumera Maheka at Chelsea, who has scored 4 goals. If you were to simultaneously say, we need to get Shumera Maheka in as our replacement 9, that feels like a bad move. That feels like a dreadful move, because it's a name that no one knows. And the fact that we just know the Gray name and we know that Archie had a brother that's very, very good at football doesn't make him ready yet. Like, he got a hat-trick, fantastic, very, very good, because he's very clearly going to become a spectacular player. It's just a question of, is he enough of a spectacular player at the minute? That is a bit of a stretch for me. And on that, Philip, it was said when Archie broke into the Leeds first team It was, because everyone was like, well, why are we playing this guy when we could just sign another right back? And it turns out Archie, quite a good right back. Effectively forced Bill out of the club, which is kind of impressive. But Archie was a year older. Archie was 17. And it was the Championship rather than the Premier League, which is where my concern comes in. And over on a website that a lot of people will hopefully become familiar with, I'll just be 1 second, and show it off a little bit. Over on theleedsview.ie, which is over here, which is Jer's website, which I suggest people head over to, because there's going to be various bits of written content over there, like increasingly, including bits and bobs from me. I've written 2 things, they're not up yet, but they have been written, so that'd be quite nice. I've got a piece that's effectively written that goes, like, if a player is good at a youth level, don't immediately drag them out of that youth level, because we don't know what they can become later. But at the moment, if you are in a Leeds United side and it is sink or swim, then we kind of know what sink looks like. Sink is just relegation. And sink is that label becomes attached to him. Because let's be a little bit realistic here, because we know what Leeds United fans are like. If you are looking at the final game of the season, Leeds United need a goal to stay in the Premier League. It ends up falling to Harry Gray's feet because everyone's demanded that Harry Gray play, has a shot, goes wide. That is gonna hurt. That's gonna kill the guy. And not only that, but like emotionally on his end it'd be a painful one. But also with his relationship with the fans, it would be devastating. Because every single fan would be looking at that situation and going, Harry Gray missed the chance to keep us up, and he would immediately get that reputation, because we've seen what happens when that reputation is allowed to form at Leeds, because that reputation becomes toxic. We've seen it with Bamford, we've seen it many, 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 many times before, when there's these players that the fan base just sort of decide, well, you're not good enough, and you're the problem here. And I think there's a risk in a season that is this volatile of bringing in a player that isn't necessarily going to be of the level, because we got no proof that he is. Like, I trust that he will be. I just don't know that that's right now, because again, this was a result against a Vanarama National League side. It's tricky, I think. It does seem if he came in then a 2 up top with a bruiser alongside him might work better, so he can play off him, but then if you do that, why not let Peru do it? Sort of, yeah. Because if you're saying you need to change the system to go 2 up top if you want to play Gray, in that point you are changing your entire tactical foundation to play a 16-year-old. And Harry Gray is good, but he's not that. He's not uproot a Premier League club's system to squeeze him in, because that's pushing it. That's a little bit of a squeeze, to be honest. To rush Harry now might not benefit him. Slow and steady will help him develop in a solid way. I think so. And we've even seen people be like, why don't we just loan him out to Rangers or something? Legally, we can't. Like, you need to have agreed a professional contract. Harry Gray is too young to do that. I think we're underestimating how young this guy is. He can't professionally sign for Leeds United yet, because he's not even 17. He can't pre-agree a contract. So we can't send him on loan to develop more. But I think we're at too high of a level realistically to say this is where Harry Gray needs to be playing at this minute. While that good young player's full of confidence, you argue it's the right time, maybe. But at the same time, my thought on that is similar to my thought when we were having the big argument around Charlie Cresswell in the Championship. And I still think that we did the right thing by not playing him in that season, because like in retrospect, cool, he went to Toulouse, did really, really well, might find a move. But in retrospect, we're not going to have played him any more by keeping him around. He wouldn't get more minutes because he wasn't as good as Rodon and Ampadu, and we needed in every single game to get as many points as we could, and you can't experiment with the starting lineup in that situation. It's just taking too many risks. It's a danger, to be honest. Sly, with what's the alternative? We have 3 strikers. We don't need to play a 16-year-old in the Premier League to try and prove a point. If things get really drastic and desperate, sure, go for it. But we've played 4 matches in the league this season so far. 4. That's it. So to be at the point where we're saying we need to play the literal child, this isn't me trying to sort of like infantilize or anything, because that's not the case, because he's a mature guy, I assume. But he is a child by the law, and to say, we need to put you out on the pitch to end Leeds United's like goal-scoring duck, and if you don't, these 37,000 people are going to be deeply depressed. That's a hell of a lot to put on a 16-year-old. And that will likely cause more problems than it fixes, to be honest. 3 strikers, only 1 scored out of 3. Sure, but the issue isn't with the finishing at the minute. The issue is with behind it. The issue is with chance creation. And I don't think Gray does the chance creation, because he gets on the end of it, as we've seen. Sure, from a set piece, banger free kick. Fantastic. On the counter, spectacular. Good shit. But that was against the National League side, and it wasn't creating the chances, and it's creating the chances that's the issue. 4-4-2, mind-blowing. Yeah, cool, well done, you said it's a 4-4-2. Congratulations. What happens to the defensive structure then? You've gone 4-4-2, brilliant. One of the best things that we've done this season so far is win the midfield battle. Every single time. Continuously. We've been winning that midfield battle in each of the games in our Premier League season so far. Maybe not against Arsenal, fine. But in the other 3, against established Premier League opposition, we won in the midfield. And going to a 4-4-2 ends that completely. And it ends that, again, for the sake of putting someone in the 9 who is 100% untested. Switch Okafor to the 10. He doesn't want to play on the inside, though. So I think all you're doing there is inviting trouble. That's my main worry there, because like Okafor has come here so he doesn't have to play as a striker. If you say, can you play in the same width as a striker, but further back so you got even less of a chance to score goals, he's going to be pissed. So I think if you want to play a 10, it's Aronson or Nonto. For now. Yes, because we've got wingers who can't cross the ball, aka Harris and Dan James at the moment. Right, okay, hang on. So we're saying that, right? We're forgetting Okafor, who is reasonable at whipping in a ball. And we are also forgetting that... Give me 1 second. Last season, combined, James and Nonto got themselves 15 assists. A hell of a lot of those from the wide areas. Sure, Aronson might not be the best at crossing. That's because he's played primarily as a 10. He's learning a new role. But sell it to Okafor like it was sold to Rutter. We signed Rutter as a 9. We didn't sign him as a winger. I agree, stick with the formation. The formation's not the problem. It's playing Aronson when James and Nonto are on the bench. So, but that's the thing. You can say silly German fraud all you like. We conceded shit all in terms of chances in that match. We were very secure at the back. Whereas a lot of the time, sides will be wide open time and time again, and Aronson was a big part of the defensive side of that game. And it kept us fine. If we come out of that with a point away at Craven Cottage, having travelled to London, which is a bogey city for Leeds United, let's be completely honest here, no one is mad, and it's a freak header that's led to the problem. The reason for Aronson playing was his defensive contribution, not his attacking one. But if DCL could finish Aronson and have an assist, Aronson also created more big chances than Nonto this season, but Nonto's called a creator. I think it's a little bit early to be diving into the sample size things. Another year in the 21s is better for him. I agree, and Mike is so excited about that opinion, he's happy to shout it from the rooftops. Here's a weird rocket scientist fact. Here we go. If our wingers can cross, then why is Stack taking corners? Before him, Rothwell and Grove, because we're the team of 10,000 wingers and what to. Because, no, it's fine. I'm having a joke. It's all good, Mike. Ooh, thank you for subscribing. That would probably be because a lot of the time when it comes to set pieces, the player that you have on the edge of the box ready to track back is going to be a winger. Because wingers are quick. That's the point of them. So, whilst Dan James can whip a ball in, brilliant. At the same time, if you've got someone like a Gruev on the pitch, who can also put a ball in, isn't particularly tall, so wouldn't be helpful in the middle of the park, then you've got Dan James on the edge of the box, where if the ball gets cleared by them, or they start to hit you on the counter, you have the fastest player on the pitch in the perfect position to chase down that player. That's why. Harry has to play DCL match, you can't score. What are you talking? They've not had the chances. The main gist is chance creation is the issue here. It's not finishing, because we're not really creating enough opportunities to finish. If we can do the stuff behind the 9, great. All good. But can hear you now. Please don't try to defend it. That's what fullbacks for, who, by the way, should be able to take corners too. Yeah, Goodmanson took corners at the weekend. Goodmanson took a couple, I think. Because I remember seeing it. I remember a corner not necessarily going well, and I was like, was that Goodmanson? And it was. Let's have a look at the match report, actually. Let's have a look at the stats. So, if I go to pass types for Leeds United, Stack took 1 corner. Goodmanson took 2. So fullbacks are taking them. It's just occasionally Stack will as well. So it's not really an issue. You think DCL and Metro score hat-tricks in the 21s? Yes, with ease. I've got to be honest with you. Yes, they piss it, without a doubt. From the bench, I'll try Harry at some point. I think at some point, yes, but I wouldn't this early. I think we're not at that point of desperation as much as a lot of people think. Farke is stubborn but competent. He'll work to the strength of the current squad. The set piece coach may provide new ideas for Farke to reposition players. Yeah, that's fair. And rework things. Because we've already seen a little bit of a change in what we're doing from set pieces from what we were doing at the start of the season. And for that to evolve is only going to be a good thing. And it might take a bit of time, but I think we'll get there. Alan Smith and James Milner are the same age with Harry Gray. Okay, sure. But at the same time, we do still have senior footballers right now. Like, Calvert-Lewin has started 1 match in the Premier League, and people are writing him off. It's nuts for people to be like, let's just give Gray a go, because we're in the shit. What? Sorry? If you want to show me an easy tap-in that Calvert-Lewin has missed in the last match, to be clear, in the last match specifically, because that was the one that he started, go for it. Brilliant. Have a pop. But this early, to be saying, yeah, sorry, Calvert-Lewin, shit. Come on. Little bit of a joke. Little bit of a joke. Yeah, Elmi, I think you're losing your head a little bit. And I understand it, because things are a bit spooky, but I don't want to hear any guff about a set-piece coach and why PSR means we didn't have him 1,000 years ago. Or being not in the Championship, we can afford one now. I'm just saying, like, you can say, I don't want to hear that guff. If it's the reality, it's the reality. Like, come on, man. Downman at Arsenal's 15-16 is getting game time. Cool, sure, that's fine. My cousin-in-law is also 16, but he's not getting any game time anywhere. That would be because he's not Dowman. Because he's a different player, and a different person, and a different level of ability. Come on. Look how long it took Foden to get in the City team. Yeah. Look how McAtee didn't get in the City team. It's nuts. Senior footballers back then to Hasselbank and Viduka not ring a bell, mate. Yeah, I am aware of that. Sure. Brilliant. But it's a different situation. So to go, well, it happened then. Why hasn't it happened now? Because it's a different context. Because different things are going on. We're in a different situation. Yamal brought on at 16, Barca value ability over seniority. Right, okay. I need to finish in a minute because I've got a meeting at past. If you are legitimately saying that Harry Gray needs to play for Leeds United because Lamine Yamal is an equivalent case, you either haven't watched enough of Lamine Yamal or you don't know ball. One of the two. Because Lamine Yamal is genuinely a spectacular footballer. He is someone that will rip apart any team. Any. That was the team's meeting. So to look at Harry Gray and go, yeah, this guy is physically, mentally, and in terms of attributes, completely ready to play for Leeds United in the Premier League is nuts. Very, very different level. Come on. But Gray, and now your reasoning makes no sense. The reasoning being that it's ridiculously early to bring him in. Like, we've seen 4 weeks of football and we're already screaming, play the kids, which is normally a thing that happens at the end of the season once you've sacked a manager and you're like, we're out of ideas. If you genuinely think we're out of ideas 4 weeks in and we think it's game over, I don't know what to say, to be honest. Anyway, I'm going to leave that stream there. I might pick it up again later. We'll have another chat like this at some point, maybe tomorrow. But I've got a meeting, and then I've got like half an hour to eat, and then I'm working a Champions League match, which is quite good. But I never said that. What? I agree, we don't. But not put. Right, okay, sorry, I misread. Anyway, typos happen. I'm gonna head off now because work. Hope you all enjoyed it, or if not, then that's fine. We can disagree. It's all good. If you fancy, pop a like on the stream. That'd be absolutely wonderful. Very, very genuinely helps the channel quite a lot. Subscribe if you aren't yet as well. That also helps things to keep chugging along in the algorithm, because the algorithm is, frankly, fucking us Leeds United YouTubers at the minute. Or become a channel member, all that kind of stuff. Hope you all enjoyed. I've got to give a training lecture now, which is always fun. And I will see you later. Toodaloo.